Welcome back to Mage Knight. This is a game of the Lost Relic, so the very short scenario of the Shades of Tesla expansion. After these long games I've recorded, the last one I played over 12 hours, I was thinking about how to do smaller games and quicker games. And since I've never played this scenario, I thought I'd give it a try and see what it's all about. It seems like it would defeat the purpose for me a bit, because I do like to strategize over multiple rounds and prepare for later assaults. And since this scenario only has 1 day, 1 night, there will not be that much strategizing, I guess. But it will probably serve the purpose to be a shorter, more laid-back game. So let's try it out. The idea here is that you do start with a level 3. So we are already at level 3, and I rolled between Tovak and Erythia and decided to go with Tovak as my hero and Erythia as the dummy. And it has some of the Blizz rules, like you get 1 extra fame whenever you cross a level boundary, so this is why you start at 9 fame, not 8. There will be 1 more source die, and there will be 1 more unit in the offer, but we do not start with a different reputation, at least not that I know of. The goal of the scenario is to discover 2 cities which are in ruins, and the cities were holding parts of a lost relic, so you have to find them all, these pieces, and in solo that means 2 cities, and again the cities are destroyed and a Draconum is guarding them, which is revealed while adjacent, and you can enter the city to fight a Draconum, which I believe is not fortified because the city is destroyed. So in essence, it's a die for the 2 cities, kill 2 dragons scenario, which does not seem too complicated. For me as a solo player, it's a bit unusual that we are using an open map shape, limited to 3 columns. So that's the rough layout here. I hope I do not screw up tile placement, and I do believe there is no coastline that prevents you from placing core tiles. I think that's the only difference. But we do start with the B side and having 3 countryside tiles already discovered. Then there will be 3 more that I need to discover. I just laid them out for optical purposes. So if I reveal them in any other order, I will have to rearrange that. And then there are 3 core tiles, 2 with the cities, 1 non-core tile. So if we discover all of them, we will already be through the countryside tiles. But we do have to do quick leveling without knowing any of the setup specifics. So this is why the source is not rolled, the tiles are not revealed, and the offers are actually not revealed. So what happens here is that if you start at level 3, you get 1 advanced action card for free of an offer of level +2. So this is why there are 5 cards. Then there are level +2 units to choose from. And then there are spells equal to your level, so 3, and artifacts level -1. We also of course already leveled past level 2, so we get a skill choice as well. I'm not sure if I would have to decide for the skill without seeing all this, but I do think it's more fun to do it like this. So this is currently not the offer, this is my quick leveling process. And I have level times 6 influence, so 18 in total. An advanced action card beyond the first free one will cost me 6 influence, so I could take up to 3 additional 1 to the 1 I get anyway. The units I have to hire with the regular influence cost, so I could hire, well, 2 units because I only have 2 slots. The spells will set me back 9 influence or 7 if I pay a crystal of the accompanying color. And part of the setup is also that you get a crystal of each color that's indicated by your hero card. Also to point out, I did not find any rules for the dummy, so I'm not sure if he should have more crystals and or action cards. But since this is not mentioned at all, I just do not touch him, I think. I would have to draw that randomly anyway. So this is the first thing we have to decide on, one of the skills, 1 action card, and then we can spend the 8 in influence. If we are not spending it all, if there's at least 1 influence left, we get a fame. We also get a fame in the scenario for revealing tiles, and if we reveal a tile with a city, we also get another fame. So we have to keep that in mind. And since this is a more of a casual game, I do think I do not want to strategize too much about this character building, although it's a fun process. I think I do definitely want 2 units, and I think I definitely pick up pathfinding because it seems like exploring and getting to the city is actually part of the challenge here. So I do think as a free action card I'm getting anyway, I'm just picking pathfinding. Mana Storm is nothing that I want to pick up. The Force of Nature might be nice, but if I also want to pick up 2 units and then another advanced action card, I would already be out of influence. So from the spells, it's chill, lethal chill. Not too fond of Call to Arms might be fun, but there will be only 1 night to actually use Call to Glory. Mist Form is also movement, so that would be an alternative to pathfinding, but I think I just spent the free action card on movement. I don't need another movement skill right from the start. So the spells are actually not that interesting, I think, which does leave Into the Heat. That might be cool, but there are not that good combat units. The Swordsman maybe, but I'm not sure it's worth taking it. I decompose a lot because it does give you 2 or 3 crystals. It's just 2 rounds, but it's a lot of mana. And removing a card from the deck at the first day is okay if there's just 1 more round after that, and in the second round, so on the first night, it's completely irrelevant. So I do think that it will set me up a lot of mana. Artifacts are both Starstorm, which is good of course, and a Banner of Glory, but both Starstorm on its own, without breaking it, it's actually not that good, I think. If you play it without another card, it's literally useless. If you play it with one more card, it's 2 ranged attack for 2 cards. It's so bad. Then if you discard 2, it's 4 ranged attack for 3 cards. That's barely better than the swiftness. So I don't know. So you really have to break it to make it shine, unless you have a really good source of cards. But then again, you are tossing cards that you could usually use for something else. In the Banner of Glory, artifacts costing 12 influence, I don't think I take an artifact here. So no artifact, no spell, which leaves, I think, 2 units and an advanced action card. I do love the Guardsmen, but I also love the Foresters because they are easy to heal. The problem with units is that I can't get to core tiles, of course, earlier than the second and last round. And I can't hire units that are only hireable in cities. They have to be sorted out in the scenario anyway, because there are no cities to hire in. So I do think I take the Guardsmen for 5. I take the Decompose for 6, that's 11. And if I want a Fame point, I have 6 left, which would mean I could take Force of Nature or another unit, and I do think I just want to start with another unit. And maybe having the Foresters as a unit that can soak up damage, easily be healed, and has another movement skill is actually good. It's quite defensive, and Tovak has a block skill himself, so yeah. We didn't talk about the skills yet, so this is who needs magic. If you do not use a source die in a turn, then you can play 1 card sideways for 3 instead of 1. If you use a source die, you can play 1 card sideways for 2. That's good, of course. That's the cooperative skill, which gives you a token of any mana color, except gold it seems. And in the next turn I can use it myself. If in the next turn I use a skill with the same mana color, the value will be improved, like with concentration. So any attack, block with any element, movement or influence. I think that's far too solid because it's just a wildcard mana, which is also quite nice. So I'm taking that, leaving this here. The dummy will reveal 1 skill, of course. I'm not taking the artifacts, also not taking any of the spells. So I do think I want to stick with the plan that the Foresters can actually soak up damage and are a nice unit, even though it's level 1. Which actually leaves us with 2 more influence, but it doesn't matter, it's just 1 fame for us. So yeah, at 10, next level will be in 5 fame. Alright, so let's get rid of the rest. All these things are actually mixed into their responsive decks, and then we do the setup. So here we are with the full setup now done. The source has 1 depleted die, a white, a green and a blue. The unit offer has another Guardsman, Golems, the Herbalist and Foresters. The spells are Snowstorm, very nice, especially if you want to kill dragons. Again, Call to Arms and Call to Glory, it came back. And Tremor, okay, not that interesting I think for this scenario. Advanced actions are Chivalry, so a good combat advanced action. More block with Shield Bash and Maximal Effect. That might actually be interesting in a game with only 2 rounds, because it does mean you are throwing away cards from your deck, but you get a lot of benefit from this, obviously. The tiles, and as usual I'm playing with random tile orientation, are 1 keep here at the edge of the map, 3 villages in total, a white crystal mine, a glade with some rampaging enemies that give 4 fame, the summoners, and we have the prowlers here with give also 4 fame, so they would be the earliest possible target, which does not make me level, but they are physical resistant, of course, and have a brutal attack. There's a mage tower in the desert at day, not that good. So overall not that much going on. No source of an artifact or a spell. We have filled our slots already on the fast leveling, so hiring in a village is also nothing to look at. So I do think, seeing my opening hand here, that I will just go for revealing early. I do have a march and a stamina and a pathfinding I took, together with a mana draw and swiftness. So with this more casual setup, I will not use the thinking indicator and I will not cut 2 different videos. I hope it's small anyway. And as I said in the beginning, with killing 2 dragons, I really do not want to strategize too much about it. So I do think I go with my gut feeling here, just bolt for the core tiles early. And here's a nice path, which is just plain, so I can just boost through basically. And with all the movement cards, I think let's just go. Pathfinding does reduce the cost of our turn to 2, so if I have a glorious movement turn as an opening, that would be really awesome. I have a mana draw, green and blue in the source, that gives me the ability to power 2 of the movement cards already. And if I use Mana Steal and use the white die for the mana draw to fix the black, I can even power pretty much all of them. And I still have Foresters left as well. So I think Mana Steal is looking good. Rethink I don't need for this plan. Planning is nice, of course, but a dummy might go before me, and Great Start might give me even more movement cards, but I do like the idea of just using Mana Steal, but even though I do have this, to be honest. So I would have enough mana with Mana Draw and this token to power all of them anyway, which would open up planning, but I would play 4 cards and be left with 1 only. That's not a good idea. But why use this now? Especially since the follow-up needs to really be considered. So I do think I just go with Mana Steal. With Mana Draw, I will put die to green, so I will have a lot of green mana. It's actually a bit too much green, so I'm reconsidering. Maybe Great Start is just fun, to be honest. If I draw more movement, I could even just bolt for the core tile right away. Let's go for the fun thing and just take Great Start. It might be completely stupid, but let's play for fun. Dummy is most likely going before me. Let's see. Yeah, even early bird. Okay. I'm not sure what the rulebook says to then burn the tactics because you won't use them anyway in 2-round game. So not sure what's that about. So we draw 2 cards. There's another movement card. Nice. And a rage. Okay. But the dummy goes first. Plays green, white and white, which hits one of his crystals. So there's another blue. In our first turn, we will step through the portal. And even though the source will look quite green, I think I will use the mana draw with the white to turn this one green. And getting me 2 tokens, which allows me to then power both Pathfinding and March. Let's maybe rearrange a bit more in order of play. So these I will most likely not use, but we have 2 more movement cards here that we can power later. So we don't have to decide on this, of course, but there's no other use for the green mana. So I'm planning this here because it will be locked in once I reveal the first tile. All right, but the movement cost of Alternate is now 2, and we have 8 movement points. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. And we can now think about what we might want to power next turn with +4. So either blue or red, that's the point here. The other card I can then power with a crystal. We do have a rage here already, so that might be something to get 8 attack. Yeah, I think that sounds like a plan. So let's take this to produce a red token. That's another 4 movement, and we are revealing these 2 tiles. Oh, well, let's start with this and see if you want to place another countryside tile here. But then again, I don't think this is a bad layout because you can place core tiles here then. If we leave this open, we could place it in the middle, but we would have to move here to actually reveal this. Let's start here with 2 movement points. Rose comes up black, so 180-degree rotation. So another prowler at the edge of the map, a mountain facing me, monster den, and the red crystal mine. Yeah, I'm not walking around that, so I'm using the other 2 movement points to reveal this tile here. Comes up black again, so another 180-degree rotation. And we have another village, Orc Trackers I think they are called. Then an altar for green mana, which gives fame, and another glade. Seeing this is the green altar, that's kind of funny because we will have 2 green source day left, but we don't have a mana draw to pull them both, of course. So that's the instinct then. And I do think I want to press on. Actually, I forgot to give me fame for these 2 reveals. So 1 fame per tile. Yeah, but let's press on using the stamina with the crystal here. That's another 4 movement points. We could use Pathfinding to actually go through the swamp here because it's all movement cost 2. Which also means that I would not have needed to move like this, but I think it was the most optimal path anyway. Moving like this would have provoked these, so yeah, it's fine. And I think I just used the movement points to move here and reveal this tile as well, which leaves me the option to kill this to level with all the fame I've gotten from my discoveries, but it might be worthwhile to actually move on. So to even play the swiftness for 2 movement so I can get into position. Let's not think about it too much. Let's move into the forest for 2 because of pathfinding and then reveal this tile here. So white, so it's rotated once. And we do have 2 mountains, lots of walls, another orc summoner, refugee camp, a maze and a monastery which I can learn start resolve at. Seeing this, I do feel like I should press on with the pathfinding effect and get myself into the position of the monastery to reveal a first core tile. Maybe burn it down to get an artifact, maybe learning start resolve, let's see. Now I'm thinking about using the foresters to press on. And I just noticed that this might even further reduce the movement cost. I'm not sure about this. I tried to find it in a compendium, how this interacts. But as I understand it, the movement cost of Altera is reduced to 2. So it's a modifier that's already applied. The movement cost is now set to 2. But it's not saying anything about the minimum. That's just what the regular effect says. So I'm not sure if this is setting it to 2 and pins it there, but I wouldn't see why from the formulation. And then the foresters say that the move cost of forest, hills and swamps is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 0, so why not? So I do think I want to activate them for another move 2, which would reduce the move cost of forest, hills and swamps, and since this is forest, and this is swamp actually, and this is hill, so it's all reduced by 1. It's all movement cost 1 now, which does mean I can just move to the monastery. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like a nice combo to have. Which means that I can hold on to the swiftness, and if I draw concentration, I might be able to burn down the monastery right away. Which does mean I did not provoke this, and I could probably kill it by blocking the attack and using a crystal to play rage, but I'm not sure this is worth it. And we did use this so we can power a red card next turn, 4+4, which we would not need obviously here. Yeah, I think that's enough for a turn. Let's just end the turn here. These tokens are removed. This is returned green. Die comes up golden. This is set with red into the center. This token is removed. We are left with 2 cards. So we are drawing 3. There's the concentration, the decompose, and a stamina. So the dummy plays a second turn, which is white, red, nice, and a blue. Okay, so we can play our second turn. So if we want to use that, it's the only way to use it with rage. We do have the swiftness concentration combination. It might kill an enemy in the monastery. We could come up with 8 attack with rage with the crystal or the gold die. It's not a mana by itself. We have to keep that in mind, I think. So the question is also what to decompose. So maybe if we can kill something at range, we can decompose the rage afterwards. We could use the stamina now to reveal a tile, but I don't think that's a good idea. We can just move on next turn. So I think let's burn down a monastery and see what happens. We don't have any influence to learn anything, and we don't need to fill a slot, so let's just burn it down. So we have at -1 by going down 3 reputation. We do draw the defending Mage Tower unit, and we cannot use the guardsmen obviously because they won't have anything to do with this. So these are ice mages, so unfortunately not a target for concentrated swiftness. So I don't think we can block an ice attack of 5, so this will be 2 wounds. But we can just kill them with the gold die powering a red card, so we are at 8 attack, which defeats them, which only uses 1 card then, which does kill it. So we get 5 fame, 2 for 14, 3 for 15 bonus fame, and another 2. So we do level up. We mark the monastery, and seeing that we have 2 wounds in hand, we should probably use the decompose now. And I do think I will just decompose the swiftness. It might be arguable that this is not a good idea, but I'm eyeing the chivalry, and by decomposing without powering it, we will get 2 white crystals, so we will be able to power this. So swiftness is out of the game. And this we have used. It's flipped now, which leaves us with these 2 cards, the wounds. Die comes up black. And first we get a combat reward, which is the choice between the Banner of Courage or the Golden Grail. That's actually quite tempting to take. Yeah, let's go with the flow and just use this to heal, because we will be able to, no, we won't be able to draw it, because we have 4 cards and get another advanced action. It's a bit sad, but it doesn't change the thing. I think we can use this to reveal and move to the glade, which actually means that we might not even use this. Yeah, let's just take the banner then. So we proceed to the level up. We didn't reveal the skill last time, so it's the hot swordsmanship. And now we have the choice between the shield mastery and resistance break. And I did want to go with the chivalry anyway. That's a lot of firepower, and we have 2 white crystals, which leaves us the option to take the hot swordsmanship. I don't think we need more defense. If we attach the banner to the guardsman, we have 2 times block 4 against swiftness already, so I'm not sure this is needed. And this might be helpful, but the dragon, depending on the armor, it might be 1 damage or something like this. So I think this is just better in this case. Erythia reveals the Dark Negotiation for later, and the offer shows Magic Talent. So that's the level up then. Let's keep up the speed, and we draw 1 card, which is the Chivalry then, of course. And it's our second turn. So the dummy plays white, blue, and red, unfortunately, with just 2 more cards, which is another green and another green. I think we just use the fact that the source is showing green, and we do have a concentration, which does mean we can come up with a movement of 6. And if you want to reach the glade to heal and move here, we do need 6 movement. The wounds are not helping. I want to hold on to the chivalry. So I think this has to do. Let's move the map. I think we move to the glade first, otherwise we might provoke an enemy after revealing. And we really want to get rid of a wound at the end of the turn. So that's 3 movement at day, and we reveal this tile here. Rose comes up white, and there's the first city. So that's the regular orientation. We rotate it to white. So we do have a red mine with a red altar. That's funny. Then some diggers, the ruins of the red city with an unknown trochonum that we reveal on adjacency. And orc wobbies here in the rough terrain. So we have 1 movement point left, but we want to stay here to heal. We will have a gold token in the beginning of the next turn. What we can't think about is to use the guardsmen to block the trackers, and you use the chivalry to just kill them. But I'm not sure this is any good, to be honest, because it's just 3 fame and a reputation. More if you use chivalry, of course, but I'm not sure this is worthwhile in this scenario. Actually, we do have the hot swordsmanship, that's so nice, but we do not have another card to play sideways. I really want to know what the dragon is, and if we have a shot with the chivalry to just kill it. But let's see, I might be playing too slow actually, because I have a lot of cards in the deck still, and the dummy's deck is quite thin. Seeing that he played 4, 3, and 5, and he's going before me, so maybe playing, well, it's just another card. Yeah, but a card is a card, so I should probably get going. Yeah, screw it. So let's block them with 4, so the elusive armor goes down to 3. And for the fun, I'm spending the crystal for an attack 4. Actually, I don't need that. So with the hot swordsmanship, there's just 1 point of damage needed, so an attack 2 will do it, and I'll get an extra reputation, which doesn't mean I get 2 reputation, 1 from them being rampaging enemies and 1 from chivalry. We get 3 fame. And then this is all played, and I have just 2 cards, and at the end of turn 1 is healed by the glade I'm sitting on. Die comes up white, and I do draw 4 cards then. The banner, cold toughness, rage, and a crystallize. No movement unfortunately, but that just means that I can heal the wound. So we'll have a gold token at the beginning of the next turn, but the dummy now plays his 4th turn. He has 4 cards, so we must avoid red and white. White he already played, but red there are still 2 left, so it's a 50-50. There's a red, that's nice. There's a green, so it remains a coin flip, and there's a red. Okay, so he's exhausting his deck unfortunately, which brings us to our 4th turn. So I'm taking the banner of courage, and I'm attaching it to the guardsman, even though the foresters could actually move me away, so I have to think about that. But the guardsman can help me kill the dragon, that's the idea here. So I need 5 movement to actually access the dragon in the last turn, if I want to kill it this day. I do have a stamina and a march left, I think. No, I've played 2 stamina, so there's a march left, because I had pathfinding in the beginning. And we already played improvisation, so the march is the only movement card we have left. And we do have a deck of 5 cards, so if you want to see them all, we have to actually get rid of all the cards. Well, then we should know what these cards are. Yeah, if here there's a promise and a threaten in there, then a swiftness, so the second one, we decomposed 1, the march, and a tranquility. So here in a promise, not a threat, not a tranquility will do anything to the dragon. So there's just a march left and a swiftness. So this is not worth it. So we are not tossing these cards to see everything. That's definitely not worth it. But we have to stay here to get rid of the wound, otherwise it will clog up our hand. Then we do crystallize, assign the banner. If we are not seeing the swiftness or the march, we don't have any movement at all, so we have to move with other cards sideways, which doesn't mean the foresters are really essential, I think. So we do have to attach it to them, so the movement is not an issue. So we do ready them. There's no use in not doing that after attaching. We do have a red crystal, so I do think we take a blue one. We also have white, so either blue or green it is. And there's not much else to do with green, and we do have a green in the source. So, well, if we get the march and the tranquility, we can actually heal something. If we take damage from the dragon and still power the march. We don't need 2 blue mana because we only power the cold toughness. We have 1 in the source. Yeah, I do think I take a green. I think it doesn't matter too much, but there's 2 green cards coming up that I might want to power. And if I, for example, draw the march, I would like to use the blue die for cold toughness, green crystal for march, and then actually there will not be another turn anyway. Yeah, I'm taking a green. Let's see what happens. So this is healed at the end of round because I'm still at the glade. This was from the glade and I will get 1 again. I've played this and I'm holding on to these 2 because these are the cards that actually kill the dragon. And let's see what we draw. We are drawing 3 of our 5 cards. So there's a swiftness, that's nice. A threaten, that's bad. And a march. Perfect. So these 2 cards we won't see, so we can't heal, but the promise is really irrelevant. Dummy announces end of round. So we have a 5th turn. That's not that many turns actually, but I went after the dummies, so I have to pay the price for this. So we can use the foresters for the battle actually, if we power the march. And since I want to maybe power the cold toughness, I do think I will play this for 5 with the crystal I just got. Because this is 3, it's hills, and the city remains a movement of 2, even though it's in the desert, obviously. But the destruction of the city doesn't change the movement cost. Actually, I did get another fame from revealing this. So I start with 9, revealed 3 countryside tiles that brought me to 12. Killing the mages brought me to 17, bonus fame 18. And the trackers brought me then to 21. So it did not give me the fame for this tile, which is 2 fame, 1 for revealing, 1 for finding a city with a lost relic. So I'm already at 23, but I did not level. Okay. But a 5 movement brings me to the mine, which reveals the dragon. I can then decide if I want to move on. And the dragon is a summoner dragon. Okay. Which is physical resistance. Well, the hot swordsmanship helps, of course, but it only brings it down to 6, so I need 12 more damage. So that's 4, I need 8 more, that's 3, I need 5 more, that's 2, so 3 more damage. And those can't produce damage, so I don't think I can kill that, actually. Scenario might be harder than I thought. I do actually have this, so I might not have needed to use the crystal. But let's see what happens. So I do think without more elemental damage, that's a hard kill. Which probably means that I have to use the other 2 movement points to reveal another core tile and see if this is another city or not. Or if it's a neutral tile. So this will actually be helpful in killing it next time if we get +4 to any of our cards. The problem with the dragons really is if you don't know them up front. But we don't have a way to get a spell. So Snowstorm would have been awesome, of course. Especially for the next night. Maybe we can get a spell and just cast a blizzard to kill it. That would be so nice. But for now I think it's off the menu. Because this brings it down to 6 as said. And the rest is not elemental. And dealing with 2 dungeon enemies summoned is really the worst string I think you can pull. Let's just reveal this. And the tile is, it's the other city. Okay. So green means rotated twice. Maybe I did not mention that these are actually Draconums, but the rules say that if there's a rampaging Draconum, you replace them with regular green enemies. I think the idea is that the dragons are in the city and you don't face any other dragons. This would really make it much more complicated to liberate the city if these are also dragons. Alright, so there's a dragon we don't know yet. And there are 2 Fame Orcs, unfortunately. There's a catapult, a village. But they are facing us, so that's nice, so we don't need to move any further. We do get 2 fame, by the way, for revealing another tile, which is also a city. So we are at 25, but a bonus fame from level up, which does give us, at the end of the turn at least, our next command slot. And we would have an increased hand limit, so it doesn't change anything for this turn because the armor stays the same, so I'm just leaving it. So can I move myself into position somehow? The problem is that I can't reveal this dragon because of the unfortunate positioning here. Because moving around would provoke them and I don't get close enough. So I won't get that information today. And the desert here or the forest here is not improving my situation. I'm sitting on a mine, which is also not bad. So I think I just have to stay, unfortunately. Which does mean I should at least kill them, because there's nothing else to do. So this will just kill them without even a mana. These 2 I can use to block. Yeah, it all doesn't matter. It's just dead. So unfortunately that will be the end of the day. So we're removing all of this. Which does mean we did waste a crystal. We won't have this token, but we do get a red one at the end of turn from the mine. We do get 2 fame and a reputation, and this is taken care of. Alright, it's the end of the first day. It didn't went as well as I thought, even though I speeded through the map. But this turns out to be quite a challenge. Dummy picks up a green crystal and a red card. I'm not sure if I want to remove maximal effect or call to arms. I think it's not that important actually. We remove the tactics. Maximum effect might be useful to actually play a rage for a lot of damage and to kill it brute force. There's a regeneration. Mist form as a spell. Monastery is burnt down, so no replacement here. 4 units are illusionists, scouts, thugs, and magic familiars. We flip this back. Ready the guardsman. We have to shuffle our deck. Source comes up red, blue, black, and gold, so 1 depleted. We can think about the banner, but there's no place to hire really. Well, maybe the glade with the familiars could be an idea, but it would be out of position. Forest at night, it's 5 movement unless I'm using pathfinding. Then hiring them, attaching the banner, and killing 2 dragons in 2 cities with rough terrain doesn't sound like a good idea. But without the spell, without a blizzard, killing this dragon will be painful. Yeah, I do think I just need the movement, unfortunately. And it will reduce the movement cost of swamps by 1, for example, which does mean it's 3 movement already for this tile. So I do think using this twice is still a good idea. I'm going with the theme of not thinking too much, so let's just move on. So now we actually do draw 6 cards. We do, since we did level. So it's a Promise and Instinct, a Rage, a March, a Mana Draw, and a Crystallize. So, tactic selection. If you want to go first, we could take From the Dusk, of course. Long Night might even be better than just risk it. It's a high chance to go first anyway, and then we will be able to use 3 cards again. Mana Surge might not be that important with Decompose and lots of crystals. Midnight Meditation, I don't know. Maybe after killing this dragon and taking some wounds, that might be helpful. Preparation might be actually quite good. Inspiring Power, I'm not sure about that. So I think the decision is, do we just kill a dragon now or not? Because we do know our hand now, and if we take Preparation, we will even have 1 more card. It would be nice to prepare with this. But we could take red, so either of those produces 8 attack, which then already is 12, that's 6, and with Hot Swordsmanship the dragon is dead, which would mean getting another red crystal. It's a bit unfortunate. The hope has to be that the 2 summoned units I can just block with these cards, and maybe with replacements of the whatever I play for Preparation to get this going, but I do think that's the way to go. Let's get rid of this dragon, we are already here, so let's not spend too much movement. We can always wound them and heal them, if I see the Tranquility, of course. But at least this dragon will make us level, so we can even take the Regeneration, which heals and readies a unit. So I do think we are well prepared, actually. So maybe we don't actually need Preparation, because as I said, this is already 12. Inefficient 6, with Hot Swordsmanship that's 8. This to block, we can get another crystal. Yeah, let's just try to solve our time problems and just go with Long Night. With any luck, 80% chance we will go before the dummy and can burn through our deck. I don't think we need this. Inspiring Power will cut us 1 turn short, and I don't think we need that much power to kill another dragon unless we pull another one of those. But we will have the rest of our deck to prepare for this. Let's just go with this. Let's not think too much. Dummy plays Inspiring Power. Okay, so the order reverses and we are first. So I don't think I want to hold on to this card, especially not with Long Night, and we are not hiring. This we use for Preparation. We do have all the mana in the world to power all this, so there's no need in actually you holding on to the mana draw. This will initiate the battle. That's good. So I think the question is, do we use this to fix up the source a bit, or do we just hold on to this? I think I do want to see more cards. So I'm using this actually to turn the depleted die to some color that I do not have, which is green, I think. So I get 2 tokens. One I crystallize, so that's played. This I just toss. This is returned. These are discarded. I will create a red token, even though it's completely useless, to activate this. And then we just draw up 3 cards, and it's our first turn. And we do get a red crystal from the mine at the end of the turn, so we have a full complement. So we could even use the altar to get some fame if we want to. But let's see if we get any more block cards. It might be useful to get rid of these summons. Concentration is useful, of course. Tranquility might be really good. And a movement card, okay. So the dummy plays his first turn. Let's make some room for the dummy. And there is green, blue, and green. And he just got a green crystal. And I grabbed 4 cards already. That's nice. It's another green. Okay. Alright, so we are moving into the battle with either of those cards. So we do want to move into the city. Battle the summoning dragon. Maybe we do use the stamina. Well, there's a lot of green cards then. No. We need the stamina to be powered with the blue die from the source next turn probably. So let's use the march. So that's locked in. And we battle the summoning dragon. We can't kill it at range. So we draw 2 dungeon enemies. And the first one is, oh god, a Hydra and a Manticore. Oh dear lord. Okay, so this means that even though it counts twice against swiftness, we also need 14 block to block it. So that's 8 to 14. There's 6 block missing. So I do think I'd rather run them through the foresters and take a wound myself. So I think that's the better choice here, because this subtracts 4 and I have an armor of 3. Which means that the foresters are blocking one of the Hydra's attacks. So how much cards do I have left? This deals 2 fire damage. So I need these 12, which means I'm using this. Probably with a die from the source, even though I have so many crystals. So this will be 8 damage. Yeah, I do think I have to block another attack, otherwise I would get 2 more wounds. And I will already have 1 taken myself, 1 on the foresters. 1 attack is blocked, so it would be 2 more wounds. Which might be okay if we take regeneration afterwards, so we can ready both units, 1 with the banner, 1 just from regeneration. And there's another heal 2, and we heal 2 here, so I think it's actually not a big deal. Alright, so let's do another 4 damage here. That's the 12 inefficient to actually kill it. That's 1 attack. These get wounded, I get wounded. Which does mean Tranquility heals this, and I'm tempted to not even power it, because I can pick up the regeneration. Although there is a point to be had to pick up maximal effect. Well, if I'm not blocking it, I have to power it, because I will get 4 wounds. So I do think I block another attack, take another wound. But it could mean that I'm actually healing this. And the regeneration without the powering will actually be enough. Actually, this will conserve a crystal if I just heal 1 wound and then power the regeneration instead. To heal these 2 and ready this unit. Actually, I'm not sure if I want to ready this twice or ready these 2. Probably I want to ready both units. I will hold on to 2 cards and a wound then, but I will still see this card and another one from my deck. Yeah, I do think the other cards I have in my deck have to be enough. I have a Chivalry for 6 attack. I hope this is enough with 2 readied units to then kill the other dragon. Let's just do it and let's not overthink it. So the Summoning Dragon summons this Werewolf here. I hope I didn't call it something else last time. And it summons the Hydra. We use the Forester to get rid of 1 of the attacks of the Hydra. Then we get rid of another and get a wound. So this takes care of the Hydra. And then a Manticore. I think I called it a Manticore. It's actually a werewolf, I think. So the werewolf deals 4 damage to the Foresters, wounding it, and then 3 to me, wounding me. So this is also taken care of. So I moved in, of course, first. And now I can kill it by doing 2 fire damage, leaving 6 physical resistant armor left. And this is now the first time I'm using red. So this triggers, and this is 8 attack, and this is 4 attack. This was a source die, that's a crystal. It's an attack of 12, inefficient 6, which is enough with the 2 to kill the dragon. This is then flipped. And I do use the Tranquility to just heal 1 wound, because I will have 2 left, a level 1 unit, wound and 1 in my hand, which I can then just get rid of with the regeneration. So let's reroll this. Comes up black. This is 9 fame, which brings me to 37 plus 1. I've now found the first chart of the Lost Relic, but I don't get anything else. I just mark the space. So this I want to use to move. This is a good combination card I want to hold on to, and I have a wound in hand. But I do level. So the choice is between double time, movement skill of Tovak, but it's Knight, it's just 1 movement. and a motivation skill, which is awesome. And I do want to take the regeneration to get my units back and heal all that stuff. So yeah, this goes on top of my deck, of course, but I can't take an Erythia skill. It's only Bright Negotiation anyway, so I'm taking motivation. Erythia reveals Darkfire Magic. Advanced action offer refreshes with learning. And that's our turn then. It's the second turn. And we do draw 3 cards, which gives us the regeneration, pathfinding, very nice, and another march. Dummy plays his second turn, which is green, red, and blue. So we don't need any of the other cards. I feel like we have a lot of time now. And we are on our third turn. And I do want to use the regeneration to heal 2. So throwing away 1 wound from me and 1 from a level 1 unit. Use the artifact to red them and ready the guardsman. We do have a lot of green cards, but we can use the blue die on the march next turn, for example. But I feel like for this turn this has to be enough because I want to see what it rerolls to, and we do have a lot of time, I think. So let's just reroll this. Comes up red, might be nice. And we draw the chivalry and the cold toughness. Dummy plays his third turn, which is red, red, and white, which is another card, which is red. Okay, it's lucky. And we are in our fourth turn. So at this point, we really need to get going. And I do think crossing the desert into the village might be the play here, or even to the glade. Well, it only gives us a black mana. It's useless. So I do think traveling these 2 spaces is a good idea. We can even fill the last slot then if we can find any other influence. I think we tossed the promise in the beginning, and instinct is already played as well. So there will only be threaten coming up, and we are neutral with our reputation. So we can easily pick up thugs or scouts, for example. And these are the only ones that we can actually hire in the village anyway. But the village also allows us to plunder. I do think it's a good idea, and we won't need pathfinding afterwards. But do we power this? Because it would cost us the crystal and we would not have another one for concentration. This only gives us blue. So I'm not sure if we want to do that, but if we just use it regularly, it will just reduce the cost of auto by 1, which means desert. Actually, it's night. That's actually nice. So this is a 2 space then, and this will be a 4 space. So 6 movement in total, which could mean to just use the stamina then with the blue source die, which might mean that we cannot power the cold toughness after all. Actually, we can because we have the motivations. I think that's just too perfect. Initiate the battle, concentration, chivalry with the crystal that we have, cold toughness. We can even use motivation. I think that's a good idea. So let's reduce the movement cost of alternate by 1. So desert at night is 2, and we have 2 movement from pathfinding. And then we use a blue source die with stamina for another movement 4, and the swamp was reduced to 4, so we can actually move here to the village and we will see the dragon. And it's a swamp dragon, so a much nicer one, which is almost trivial to block with the guardsmen. I love them so much. So let's not do anything else with this turn. Die comes up white. These 2 are played. We draw another 2 cards, which is a rage, that's nice, and a decompose. So we have 3 cards left, but we do have a long night. Dummy plays his 4th turn, which is white, blue, and white. So 1 more, which is another blue. Dummy's deck has only 2 cards, so we do have 3 turns now. Our 5th, Dummy's 5th will exhaust. Our 6th, Dummy will announce end of round, and our 7th then. So 3 turns, 3 cards in the deck, and a long night. But maybe we just go for it. If we flip this, we will see almost all of our deck. And we have so many cards. I think it should be trivial to kill this. So this could move us in. This will be 6 damage. This will block the dragon almost. So we need just 2 more block, which could be a rage. Or just using the Forster's block as well. Because with this we might want to use together with these 6 attack here. Yeah, it's actually trivial to kill this dragon. So we don't even need the motivation. Yeah, let's not overthink it. So the march will bring us into the city. The 2 units will come up with a block of 8 against a swift enemy, plus 3 is 11. We need 10. So this blocks the swamp dragon. We will then have an attack of 4 and an attack of 6. Although we should probably use a die at that point. Getting an extra fame or reputation is probably not good in a 2-round game. So let's just do it like this, and it's 10 attack. I don't think I can pull other enemies in because it's not an assault. Yeah, so moving in, blocking, killing. Die comes on black as well. Crystal is discarded. March was used. No bonus from this, but we do get 7 fame. So we're up to 45. We also mark this with our shield. And that wins us the scenario, but we will have 1 more turn. The dummy has not, so we leave the dummy as is. And we play 1 last turn, which does mean drawing these 3 cards. swiftness, threaten, and stamina. And we can, of course, flip this for a blue token and then make a new draw pile out of the discard pile, at least 3 of them, and we draw 2. So let's just draw 2. That's an instinct and a chivalry, and 1 more will be in the draw pile. So I do think we decompose, get rid of the threaten for the memes. So we get all crystals but red. So that's green, blue, and white. The blue crystal can power the cold toughness. And I do think I want to keep it simple and not think about how much cold toughness actually gives me against the catapult. So that's 5, and movement 2 with cumbersome will just block it. Outswordsmanship will just kill it. So all the other cards are actually useless. I can use the chivalry to get another fame and reputation, but I don't think any of this matters. Well, actually the fame might matter, so let's give me the 4 here. 49 bonus fame due to scenario, 1 from chivalry. Actually, this would cost us a mana, so we are not doing this. Okay. Yeah, but I don't think there's much else to do. We get a reputation, and with the chivalry we can actually get another one. Doesn't matter. So this would be re-rolled. This token for motivation is lost. We have played all this. But it's all just about score at that point as usual. So these cards are then useless. Alright, that went in the end a little bit better than I expected. I was a bit set back from this summoning dragon because I could not just kill it. Usually if you have a good block and some amount of attack, like with chivalry, so a dragon is really not that big of a deal, especially if you can just heal the wounds. But there are dragons, of course, like the summoner dragon, that are really hard to deal with because of the physical resistance and the unknown tokens that are being drawn. But we could get us into position at least in the first day. Did we know what we are up against? Actually, I screwed up the offer. I just realized because I was at core tiles. So I should have revealed actually 2 of the elite units, which are heroes and fire golems, and we would not have revealed probably these 2. I don't know. Again, it doesn't matter too much because we did not have any good way to hire anything anyway. So these would need, well, a village actually, so we could have hired them there, but coming up with 9 influence without going for this and the character building at the beginning is quite impossible, and we do not have a keep or a mage tower. So that was definitely a mistake, but we didn't touch the offer anyway. I chose to fill my slots in the beginning, and we did not hire anything here. It was not necessary, and yeah, playing fast makes you a lot more inefficient, but we wanted to make a smaller, relaxed game, and I think we succeeded in this. I think it's more interesting than I gave it credit for, this scenario, because you do have this nice leveling phase in the beginning where you can like compose a character with a skill, an advanced action, and then maybe a spell, an artifact, no matter, well, there's a lot of options. So I do like this process actually. And then you do have to reveal 3 countryside tiles and then up to 3 core tiles. It's a lot for 2 rounds if you also want to kill these dragons. So I do think it's not trivial, although again, if for an experienced player, it's probably easy enough to solve this, especially if you really keep in mind that you only have 2 rounds and you should build your deck in a way that helps you killing dragons. So for example, having elemental damage would be good, but then again, if we would, for example, have the snowstorm in the original offer and then you come up against an ice resistant dragon, it's suddenly not that good anymore. So this is why knowledge is key in Mage Knight. You don't know the dragons until you are actually right beside a city, no matter if day or night, which is interesting, but it makes it hard to plan for this. But I don't think the Bow of Starstorm, for example, would have been any good, at least not against the Summoning Dragon, because you would need a total of 16 physical damage to kill it at range. So how many cards do you want to discard? Like 8? So you have a hand of 9? Doesn't sound too good. So you could do it, of course, with like a concentrated swiftness, then doubling it with a Bow of Starstorm, but even then it's not enough. So elemental damage is really key here. So picking a unit maybe for this, yeah. I think it's, as I said, more interesting than I thought. It's a really short time frame, and you have this character composition, then an open map even in solo with 3 tiles, so you can actually pick and choose what you want to do. But you have to press onwards, so movement is king, I think. And then killing 2 dragons, yeah, that sounds nice. And if you want to adjust the difficulty, I do think there are multiple options. One could be that you just start with level 1, or it would take away of this whole composing thing. So I think it's more interesting to rather ramp up the difficulty, for example, by killing 2 dragons per city or giving them another token, maybe even a dungeon enemy. So a dragon and a dungeon monster per city. You could also stagger it out, of course, that the first city is just a dragon and the second is 2 dragons. I think there's a lot of options, but yeah, you can't plan for too much ahead, because there is not that much ahead, it's just 2 rounds, but it captures the essence of Mage Knight, I think, quite well. So I think this was fun. Let me know what you think about this scenario. It was my first time playing it, but I might actually want to return to this. But let's make a quick score calculation for those who are interested. I have no idea how to compare this, of course. So I do get 5 points per relic, which is 10 then, brings me up to 60. Then 10 if you found all the pieces, which I did, which is 70. And at that point, I don't think I get the bonus fame anymore. Then I do actually for once get points for the cards in the dummy deck, which is 2. Another 5 because he did not announce the end of round, which is also quite new to me. And then we do the standard achievement scoring. For this, we have to sort out our deck. So these are the 14 cards because I decomposed 2. And I only have 4 advanced actions. So 2 from character building and then 2 from leveling again to level 4 and 6. I do have an artifact from the monastery. I don't have a spell. So no spells and 4 points for the advanced actions. We did manage to not break the artifacts. It's 2 points. And I ended up with 6 crystals due to the second decompose. That's 3 points. So 3 pairs. I'm not a great leader, so that's just 3 points. We did not conquer a keep, a mage tower, but we did burn down a monastery. And we did not see a dungeon. We did not do any of the altars, no spawning ground, no monster den, and of course no tomb. And I did not end up with any wounds. So that's it, I think, which is a solid score of 91 for a 2-round game. I'm not sure if this is good or bad. Let me know if you have any details on that. But that's that. So this was a quicker game of Mage Knight. See you on the next game.